Okay, folks, good morning. This is Dave TV for the 18th of June. I just wanted to show you some investigative work I did when I was a kid. This is the Severed Heads, Big Car, really cool band out of Australia. A guy by the name of Tom Ellard actually was probably the main demon behind it. But there's a song called Big Car, and if you go to the 322 section, if you go to the 322 mark in the video, you hear a clip. Okay, you hear that all the way to the bottom, Maggie. You made it. Ah! And I always wondered where that came from. And then one day I was watching on some old rerun, the McMillan and Wife. You know, that old show with Susan St. James and Rock Hudson. Anyhow, all of a sudden, here's an episode with Barbara Feldon.
This is me to murder a man that I admired more than I could ever admire you. And now you're even ready to kill me, too. Well, that's about as used as a woman can get, isn't it? All the way to the bottom, Maggie. You made it. Ah!
Okay, so there, now you know the rest of the story. That little audio clip came from a McMillan and Wife episode with Barbara Feldon, a guest starring there, 99. Of course, you'll remember her 99 from Get Smart days. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Yeah. What did I do with it? Gosh, I can't figure it out. Here it is. One nice thing to know, by the way, finally, the third season of McMillan and Wife came out a week or two ago there, and you can get it on Amazon and whatever. One of my favorite old shows. I love this old show, and a lot of really cool guest stars in it over the years, but it's now out on DVD. You can get the first season of McMillan and Wife came out back in like 2005, and then that was it. And now a Canadian company has released seasons 2 and 3, and then seasons 4 and 5 are coming out in July, and finally season 6 in August. So, anyhow, you want to watch Barbara Feldon all the way to the bottom, Maggie. You made it. Ah! You can see that in the season 3 episode called Free Fall to Terror of McMillan and Wife. And you can also Severed Heads, a really cool band. What did I do with her? I have a whole bunch of Severed Heads albums. Of course, you know, from Dave's record collection. I love this band. They're very techno, out of Australia. Severed Heads, Bad Mood Guy, Cuisine. These are magnificent albums. I'm sure they're all out of print these days. Come Visit the Big Bigot and Dead Eyes Open. 2 albums on 1 CD. Bulkhead. And, of course, what we were just listening to, the Big Car remix featuring Barbara Feldon, Agent 99 from Get Smart on the McMillan and Wife. I love it. Somebody ought to be playing 1059. You ought to do a Severed Heads weekend. All right, folks. What's the big news today? Wow, look at this. In your Sunday Post, you're going to get a big poster. Look at this side. Look at this poster. What's it, about the size of a piece of typing paper? There, a Washington Nationals poster of Worth. Yeah, put this on your wall. Of course, you know, it looks big when it's up close to the camera, but when you really see how big it is, it's about the size of a piece of 8 by 10 paper. It's in Sunday's Post, but of course you'll get it in the Saturday package. Of course, if you're a subscriber, I don't know. You know, it's one of those dings. If you're a subscriber, you get it. If you're not, if you don't, I don't know. Anyhow, it's the big news today or yesterday. City Paper fires back at Dan Snyder. That's a Paul Farhi piece. Congrats to Paul Farhi for actually breaking some news. Basically, it says the Washington City Paper Friday filed back at Dan Snyder. No. Snyder sued the City Paper and its parent company in February, claiming that a story about him in November was defamatory. The story, The Cranky Redskins Fans Guide to Dan Snyder, was an unflattering recounting of Snyder's tenure as Redskins owner and a businessman. He filed the suit in New York, but then eventually filed it down here in April. And he mentions Dave McKenna as a defendant. McKenna, of course, is a really cool guy. I like Dave a lot. He's a wonderful writer, and he's the guy who wrote the article. Anyhow, what's interesting about this, and I'm going to read, in its motion filed Friday in D.C. Superior Court, City Paper based its request for the dismissal of Snyder's suit on a newly enacted district law that prohibits lawsuits designed to intimidate or silence critics. The law is aimed at so-called strategic lawsuits against public participation, or SLAPP, S-L-A-P-P, which are suits that use, here's the key word, use the threat of costly litigation to coerce an opponent to stop criticism or public opinion. Now, Paul Farhi attempted to get Snyder's lead attorney and his public relations people to comment on this article, and neither of them returned calls. But anyhow, it's a really good piece, okay? It basically says that this is a SLAPP article. What a SLAPP suit means is the person who files it doesn't necessarily think they have a meritorious lawsuit, but they're rich and powerful, and they realize that the newspaper they're suing or the journalist they're suing is maybe not so rich, and so they're going to threaten the journalist with a costly legal action in order to get him or her to come around, so to speak. It's coercion, flat and simple, whatever. So anyhow, I'm really pulling for the City Paper here, and I'm pulling for Dan, for Dave McKenna and all that. I really think that this lawsuit has to go away. It's a bad thing. Dan Snyder is a very wealthy man. If Dan Snyder wants to take out full page ads in City Paper or the Washington Post and slam the City Paper and the Dave McKenna article, he's certainly free to do so. He can do it on his radio stations and all that. This is a suit just to intimidate journalism, and it's a bad thing. It's a funny thing. We here in the Washington area have a win-win situation with the Redskins if they play this season. Who knows if the football season is going to happen or not. But the win-win is if the Redskins are good, hey, that's great. I've been a Redskins fan since 1972 when we first moved down here. My family did. My dad was a diehard Eagles fan, and we'd often sit there and watch the Redskins play the Eagles, rooting for either side. But anyhow, I love the Redskins. I've been a fan of theirs for 40 years, and I love it when they win. But now, if they don't win, if they have a terrible season like they did last year or the year before that or the year before that or the year before that, we can always say, hey, it's great because it makes the team owner, Dan Snyder, look terrible. So either the Redskins win, yay, or the Redskins lose, yay, because Dan Snyder looks like more of a... this guy, I don't know, something's wrong with Dan Snyder. Something is wrong with this guy. All right, folks. Oh, please, don't sue. I don't have any money. What would you win? If you sued me, what would you win? You would win... Okay, you would win my collection of Severed Heads albums, okay? Sorry, Your Honor, I don't have any money to give you, but here, you want my Severed Heads albums? Maybe that's what he wants. These are cool. They may be worth suing me for. So, all right, folks, what's the big news? Is there any big news today at DCR TV Land? Let's see if the site loads today. Okay, this is a real-time loading. A little on the slowy side. But there we go. Look at that. We got an Action News, Channel 11 memory there. Look at those guys. There's Ron Smith. Remember him? I think he's doing a radio show in Baltimore these days. Vince Bagley. Sue Simmons. Remember her? Mike Hambrick? I think that was his name. Oh, cool, huh? Some cool people there at Channel 11. And okay, yeah, not a lot of news since yesterday that we reported, but the website is loading pretty good this morning, but that can change second to second. What I'm also doing is putting up some text ads, okay, on the right column there. Here's display any document or diploma proudly. Diploma plaque laminators, only $64.95 plus shipping any size. Beautiful. DiplomaPlaqueLaminators.com. They're one of our fine advertisers there on the top of the page. And sometimes this graphic doesn't load, so we're also putting up a text ad for them. But do check them out. It is graduation season, and your fine grandson or son or daughter or whatever, or mother or father is graduating from somewhere in this May or June, and you got that beautiful, beautiful diploma. Get it framed, save it for posterity, call Diploma Plaque, or get in touch with Diploma Plaque Laminators. Click on their link on my website, and you will preserve it for eternity, which is what you want to do. My diploma, I think from JMU, it's in a box in my closet, way down at the bottom. All right, folks. Maybe I ought to call Diploma Plaque Laminators. Maybe they could give me a freebie. You know, it's a deal for running their ad. I don't know. Anyhow, thanks for watching Dave TV on this beautiful Saturday, the 18th of June. And don't forget to stay tuned.